Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do you let your hearts get troubled? Do you keep asking and worrying, will I be able to do this task? What will happen to me if? Will my children be okay? What if I fail in my exam? I also fall into such thoughts. And to all of us, Jesus speaks directly. He says, do not let your hearts be troubled, even if they are trying to get troubled. But how can I stop my heart from worrying? We'll hear the answer from Jesus himself. Now here's a short story from a master storyteller, C.S. Lewis. And it's not just a fairy tale, but it tells us something about ourselves too. The story begins in the kingdom of Kalorman, where a grand-looking stranger arrived at a poor fisherman's hut, riding his war horse. The fisherman's son, Shasta, overheard the two men talking, and he was amazed to hear that the fisherman was not his father at all, but had found him in a boat as a baby. It was a night of wonders, because Shasta discovered that the stranger's horse was a talking horse from the kingdom of Narnia in the north. And that night the two of them, horse and boy, ran away together, heading for Narnia. Exciting adventures met them all along the way. Shasta and the horse were chased by a lion, and they found themselves running side by side with another talking horse and her rider, Aravis. They were also heading for Narnia. This is Aravis telling her story to others. At one point they had to pass through the capital city, and there Shasta thought everything was going wrong because he got mistaken for a prince and landed up at the Kalorman palace where he couldn't get away. And there he overheard the others talking about the easiest way to Narnia. And so now he had a map in his mind. He escaped from the palace through a window, and they also discovered that the Kalorman prince was about to attack Narnia. And now Shasta and his friends realized that they had a mission. They had to warn the northern kings before they were attacked. So Shasta had to spend a night all alone near some tombs. It was very scary and he was cold. And then a cat came and warmed him during the night, and even frightened away the wolves who were circling around. And after a long, thirsty journey through a desert, the four of them finally reached Narnia and began to take things easy because they were really tired. And that's when a lion chased them again, and suddenly they found they had the strength to run much faster. It was on the last part of the journey that Shasta came to meet a lion, a noble, awesome, shining lion. And this is when the lion, who was named Aslan, told him that it was he who had been there all along the way. He was the one who had pushed his boat ashore when he was a little baby. He was the one who chased them so that they would meet one another. He was the cat who warmed him, who had chased away the wolves, and the lion who had chased them again so that they would get new strength to run. And at last Shasta understood. He was filled with courage for his mission. To cut the story short, Shasta was able to warn the kings about the attack. There was a fierce battle in which he also took part, and finally the kingdom was saved. And that's when Shasta met the king, who turned out to be his real father. So Shasta was reunited with his twin brother and his father, and went on to become a brave and wise king himself. In today's gospel, you will hear Jesus speaking to us, just like Aslan, the great lion. Let's see if you can pick up the important messages that Jesus has for us. A reading from the Gospel of St. John. Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. And you know the way to the place where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you know me, you will know my Father also. From now on you do know him and have seen him. Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact will do greater works than these, because I am going to the Father. The word of the Lord. So a few questions. Jesus said, do not let your hearts be troubled. Instead, he asked us to do something. What was that? Just one word answer. That one word comes many times in the gospel. We have to believe. What does he want us to believe? Let's find out. Let's listen, unjumble all these statements and let's see if you remember them. First one is, in my Father's house there are many dwelling places. I go to prepare a place for you. The disciples must have looked unbelieving, so he said, if it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? Do I tell lies, in other words? Then he said, I will come again and will take you to myself. So Jesus not only goes ahead of us, but he also accompanies us, just like Aslan, the lion, was there all along the journey. What did he say next? Jesus said, you know the way to the place. And again the disciples seemed confused. They said, how can we know the way? We don't know where you're going. Then Jesus gave us this wonderful answer. I am the way and the truth and the life. So Jesus is everywhere, ahead of us, with us, and he himself is the way that we have to journey on. And now Jesus spoke finally about their mission. Just like Shasta and his friends had a mission. What was that? The one who believes in me will also do the works that I do. So Jesus said, if you believe, all this will happen. So let's again look at the similarities between you and Shasta, Jesus and Aslan. From both the stories we learn something. We too have a mission. We're not just there for ourselves. We have something to do. And it may be difficult. We have difficult things to do, but God is with us all along. God works through the things that seem to be going wrong. At least that's what we got from the story, that when he thought everything was going wrong, actually it was good, because then he found out the map. When we feel like giving up, he gives us extra strength. When we meet the Lord face to face, each time we come close to him, he gives us that courage and strength, and we are able to carry on and fulfill our mission. He gives us companions along the way. And we too are princes and princesses. Our home is a king's palace. Jesus hinted at this in the gospel when he talks about the Father. And we have the road map to our real home and family. And what is the road map? Jesus himself is the way. All we have to do is walk with Jesus and believe and obey. And today, Jesus is speaking to you and me. What is he saying to us? Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in me. Think about all the words he said. Believe that I prepare a place for you. Believe I will come again and take you to myself. Believe that I am the way. And if you believe, you will do the works that I do and even greater things. Be quiet and let him fill you with his courage and with hope, and most of all with the grace to believe. If you're in a group, choose one statement of Jesus from the Gospel, write it down and share it with others. Talk about it. And then pray for each other to give up worrying and to believe in Jesus, in his presence with you, in his power. So bye from Family Faith Time. Do not let your hearts be troubled.